Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to part two of ranking and reviewing cartoons. So, in the last episode, there was some cartoons basically that I didn't even rank, and I'm gonna fix this out a little bit. And they were not on the list that was part of the Nickelodeon slash Cartoon Network and all the other ones. So I thought I'd rank some more cartoons. Like I said, I was going to make a part two, part three, whatever. Some of these shows I can already tell you. I could tell you some of them are not really from previous kids. They're not even shown on that channel when I had the channel and stuff. But anyways, so I'll be ranking basically PBS Kids show, and this is times where when I was a young kid, and this is the cartoons I'd watch when I was young. Um, you know, if I have to tell you something, I think the part one video that I did, I will tell you those cartoons I actually watched the least when I was like young, but part two, where it's PBS Kids shows, this is the stuff I watched when I was young, and I was available and access to because of the antenna we had didn't have a brightened horizon of a whole bunch of shows. So I thought we'd take a look at the actual cartoons I actually and would watch all the time. Um, some of them actually might be on there from the last one. Maybe I'm not sure. No, maybe not. But anyways, let's get into it. The Cat in the Hat. That knows a lot about that. Cat in the Hat. That knows a lot about that. Yeah, I watch that a lot at my house, and I will say that for the majority of these, I'd say I watched at my house. Some of them I watched at my grandma's house when she had her house, but she's no longer living. But we got rid of it. Um, Anyways, the Cat in the Hat. I knows a lot about that. I have a lot of memories, I'd say, from that. The Cat in the Hat. I knows a lot about that. Um, I remembered when I was like starting to like Cat in the Hat. I remembered I was like at some office, some hospital office. I'm not sure, or if it was something that my dad had or something. But I remembered my mom and I went to the thing. Maybe it was actually just for me and how I was doing around that time. I can't tell you when started watching it. All I can say is 2013, 2014. That's all I can say probably when I watched it. Um, Basically, um, the Cat in the Hat that knows a lot about that. Um, I will tell you, I think I enjoyed watching it a little bit, I will say. And if I have to rank a little bit with this, I think I'm going to have to be completely honest with you. I think Cat in the Hat, I think, is a B tier, actually. Has some memories with it. But anyways, the next one is Wildcats. I um I watched it a lot. Every time when I got done with school, this would be like the second show that would come on when watching it, not the first one because there's a show that was on before that, or maybe it was the third cartoon that came on when I got done with my elementary school years. I watched that. Did I like it? I thought it was interesting. I watched it, and then there was like Zach Bots. I remember. I have some memories with Wildcats. I'd say PBS Kids was like a different time compared to the new version. I'd say. Um, Wildcats. If I have to rank Wildcats, I think it's a B tier. I'd say. Next one is Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. I remember when I first watched this, I was at my house and I watched a lot. I think, well, no, I think whenever I had the day off when I was really sick when I was in elementary school, I remember that I think it was at 8 or 9 o'clock that the cartoon show would be on. Um, to give you a clarification on when Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, when I started watching it, I think it was 2014 or if it was 2015. I watched it. I'd say I watched it a lot, a lot. Um, yeah, to give you a clarification, I think it's also I watched it at my grandma's house as well. It'd be interesting. These memories, I think I'd say, but to be honest with you, if I have to give a ranking, I think Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is a B slash C. I watched it quite a few times when that was coming out when I was actually sick, and it is a memory because it ties in kind of with Sesame Street when watching it. But anyways, the next one, Pig plus Cat. I will say Pig plus Cat is a classic. I remember watching that a lot of times. And when watching this, I think it was like 2016. And I remember that I was at my grandma's house. I watched it when I stayed the night over there, and it was interesting times. Nowadays, I can't even have them anymore because my grandma and grandpa are dead. I don't have no grandma and grandpas now in this life now. So, anyways, Peg plus Cat, if I have to say, I think it's a classic. I think it's an A tier, I'd say, or Peg plus Cat, because I just have so much memories. The next one, oh my goodness, here we go. Odd Squad is a classic, a huge classic. I think the first generation, the second generation, I think those were like the best agents. Agent Olivia, Ancient Otis, Agent Otto, all those characters, like I'd say, are classics. And when the new series and stuff, I remembered when they were gonna release new information about who's going to be the next agents for the episode of the shows. I was in school, or I was heading to school, and they were starting off with their new agents and stuff. I think it was like a 2 hour show. I remember going to school, and it was just so cool to talk about this. I love like watching Odd Squad, and I think it was my favorite time of my life. I'd say it was just so great to watch this stuff. I think every episode was interesting and cool, and it would teach you math and stuff, and it was just amazing. So if I had to rank Odd Squad, I think Odd Squad, in my opinion, is an S tier. That's what I will say. And the next one is Nature Cat. I will say that's another memory. It kind of ties into 2016, 2017. I remembered I was playing Terraria at the time, actually, when this show came out. Maybe it was when I was playing Terraria. I'm not sure, but I know it's something like that was connected a little bit with Nature Cat a little bit. I remember this show came out around like a fall time, and if I think about Nature Cat, I'm thinking about orange leaves when it becomes like fall time. And when it was winter, it started to winter and it was really cold and stuff. And Yeah, it's just crazy. Nature Cat is alright, I suppose. To rank Nature Cat, I think it's B tier, I'd say. But anyways, the next one is Ready Get Jet Go. I've watched a lot with this show. I think when that show is happening and stuff, when I was like watching all these cartoon shows, I had a problem with my dad because me and my dad, when we wanted to watch TV, he always wanted to watch the news and stuff. And so I'd always have to give up the TV for him to watch the news and stuff. And then when he gets done, he'd let me know on this stuff. So I let him have the TV. And then I think when it was airing for this show, the cartoon show Ready Jet Go, it was around like 7 o'clock. It'd be on, and I'd watch it there. Yeah, it was cool. I consider it somewhat sometimes of a memory. Um, Ready Jet Go. Sure, I think Ready Jet Go. I think I'd have to rank B/C. There's some memories with it, I'd say. That's all I can say. Um, yeah. The next one is Splash and Bubbles. Yeah, I have a memory with this, but honestly, when watching this show, I think it's trash. I think it was trash, honestly. Um, I remember like playing Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, and I think when watching this as well. Well, not at the same time, but you know what I mean. Like when I get done watching this, I'd go and start playing on my red Wii. And oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, well, the reason why I'm saying it's trash is because I didn't find any enjoyment in watching it really. So it kind of died down for me. So, in a great way, it was good to stop watching it. I think it has some memories, but I just don't feel like it has any effect on me. It's kind of like a forgotten show. Started watching. And around that time, well, no, never mind. I don't know if it was like around the time where YouTube was like popping off with Super Mario Logan and stuff. I'd watch that with this too as well, which was interesting. All right, the next one, Clifford the Big Red Dog. I think I like the old animation. I've not watched the newer animation, but I think the old version for Clifford the Big Red Dog, I think it was underrated. And I liked watching it. And then I remembered I'd always go to like a library. I'm not sure if I watched it on the computer or I think it was after or before going to the, what is it? Library. I'd watch it. I'd go to the home and watch this. I think I watched it at my grandma's house maybe. I don't. I can say I like the old animation. The newer animation, not so much. I don't know why they had to make it new. Something with the producers or something go wrong, or I'm not sure. But I think if I had to rank Clifford the Big Red Dog, I think it's a B tier. I'd say I got a lot of shows that are on B tier. But anyways, the next one is Pinkalicious and Peterific. Um, I didn't really watch this really that much. I remember when it was new and stuff, I did watch a couple episodes. Uh, Nothing really memory-ish with it, honestly. I'd rank it C tier. C slash. Actually, you know what? I'll rank it D slash trash tier because I don't have no interest with it, really. But anyways, next one is Liberty Kids. Liberty Kids. When I was like, I watched this, and I will say something about it. When PBS was on TV and stuff, this show was not on PBS Kids for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's interesting to know these things because this is stuff I didn't know that Liberty Kids was tied to PBS Kids. That's something I didn't know about. But yeah, PBS Kids with Liberty Kid, it wasn't on there. However, I did watch it. I watched it basically at school. I watched it in middle school. I watched it at fourth grade when I was in elementary because I was learning basically what the history was with stuff like Benjamin Franklin with the light bulb, and it'd give it like the school would give us tests on knowing these things, and this was the show we watched a little bit, and it'd help us understand things around history and stuff. Did I enjoy it? It has some memories to it, I will say. I remembered like the Boston Tea Party was affect part of the episodes. It was talking about how the people were dumping the tea because of taxes. Um, so yeah. Uh, to rank Liberty Kids, I think I'm gonna probably do a C on that one. C slash D, I'd say for Liberty Kids. I consider it memory-ish, but I stopped watching it. Let's Go Luna. Didn't really watch actually a lot of Let's Go Luna. I've watched a couple episodes, but they're not interesting. I think it's trash, honestly. That will be a fair ranking right there for me, in my own opinion. Next one is Molly of Denali. Watched 2, 3 episodes of this, and I think it's trash too as well. I think. Nothing really interesting about it. Anyways, next one is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. When I watched it around 4 o'clock. When I was in my elementary, not elementary, it was middle school slash high school. I watched this, and yeah, with watching this show, I thought it was bizarre to watch it, honestly, in my terms. And plus, I didn't really watch too much of this. I'd watch when, like, when I watch these PBS kid shows in middle school. If I wanted to watch the PBS shows, I'd always start watching them at 5 o'clock. I watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood rarely, but when it was elementary and stuff, when we watched it, it was at 7 because it'd be in the daytime when we had to go to school. And I think they still do that unless they change their ways about it. I'm not sure. I don't know what schools these days do, but all I could say is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's bizarre, I'd say. So, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, I think it's trash. Um, I just don't. I'm not interested in that type of aesthetic type of thing. Not really. Okay, moving on. Thomas the Train. Oh my goodness. I think Thomas the Train, in my opinion, is a classic. When I was young, I'd always watch this. Um, 2016 Minecraft, when it was happening and stuff, I watched it. I remembered Was it 2012 or 11? 2011. Somewhere around there, I believe. I bought movie disc and we watched it, and I guess it has some memories to it. I don't think we have the disc anymore, but yeah, I stopped watching it, but I do have quite a lot of memories with this. I think this would be like the top shows I think I'd watch a lot when I was really, really young. Like when I was like six, or not even six, probably even four, um, all the way up to 10 or 9. Maybe not even that. Maybe even older than that. I'm not sure. There is some classics with this. I have a lot of experience with this show. Blockbuster, I remember, was a thing when this show was around too. Like, the Blockbuster movie store, right? When it was not um, running out of stores or making stores go kind of thing. You know what? This whole show was not because of that. It's just that it was a tied up memory with it. So Thomas and the Train, I will rank you 7. I mean, I'll rank you S tier. I think you're a classic to watch. I don't like the newer Thomas the Train where it's cartoonish now. 2D cartoon. I'm not a fan of that. I rather prefer this version than the other one. The other one is not enjoying to watch. But I'd say I'd watch that. The next one, Bob the Builder. Yes, I have a lot of memories with Bob the Builder. I'd say. As you can see, there's like two of them. When I was young, you know what was crazy? That just brought me back to a couple more memories. Um, there would be another show on top of this, and I don't know, maybe it might have not have been on it. Maybe it was for a different show. But anyways, Bob the Builder. When, and this is a fun fact too about this show. I think this show was it had an episode and it was premiering on like a cart. You know, when you're in like a kid's cart when you're going shopping and stuff, they'll have like a cart attached to it. Well, back in the really, really, really old days, and I don't even talk about this anymore. This is another rare, cool story and fun fact about me. Kid carts had TV screens, little TV screens in the center of it where it was kids proof, and we watched it when we were in the carts. I thought that was an experience. Holy cow. But they stopped doing it because um I don't know, they just got too expensive maybe, I'm not sure. But I remembered that was on the cart and they had probably a show for it. So, the whole lore about it is just interesting to talk about. Like these are stories. These are really crazy stories to know about me. And it's crazy. But anyways, Bob the Builder, I think it was a great show. Um, I can't say when, probably 2007 or 8 or 9, somewhere around there. I watched this type of Bob the Builder. Um, did I find any enjoyment? I like the animation a little bit. Uh, Bob the Builder, I think I'll give this Bob the Builder ranking. I think I would rank it B tier. The next one, Bob the Builder, the newer version. Um, yeah, I like this one, honestly. I like this movie more than this one. So I think I'll give this one an A tier. I think it's okay with that one, I suppose. But anyways, yeah, that's all I can say for that. Next one is Angelina Ballerina, The Next Steps. I watched like 10 episodes probably from this series. I remember watching it a little bit. And I remember watching this in my grandma's house. Did I find any enjoyment in it? I found some enjoyment out of it. I thought it was cool. I can't guarantee you if it's probably when I watched this, probably was like 2014 or 2016, somewhere around there. I remembered I had like a breakfast one time when watching this, and it just hit the spot when watching the show. Um, Angelina Ballerina, if I have to rank you, probably I'll put you B tier. I don't know. I'd say it was a vibe, I'd say. Because I had a memory with it a little bit. Anyways, the next one is Peep in the Big Wide World. This is a classic right here. I like the credits. I like the post credits, and even like the whole series based on off of this. I thought this was enjoying to watch. I remembered I'd always go to my grandma's house, watch this, and I think it was my mom or if it was my grandma, but when she was babysitting me, maybe, she basically made me strawberry milk, and I'd watch this. Man, when thinking about this makes me even want to try it. Oh man. But yeah, I watched this a little bit. This would be rarely on though for PBS Kids. Um yeah, I think Peep in the big wide world, I'm gonna rank this B. I think it was no, actually, you know what? Screw it. I think I'm gonna put it at A. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it. All right, the next one is Jakers: The Adventures of Piggy Winks. This show was on Cubo, not PBS Kids. I can't believe this was on PBS Kids. I remember this being on Cubo. And I think I might have to make a part 3 for recording this. But yeah, Jakers and the Adventures of Piggy Winks. This was on Cubo. I remember watching quite a few episodes. Maybe 15 episodes from this. 15, 13, something like that. I can't guarantee that my numbers are positive when saying these episodes and stuff. But I remembered sitting on like a great couch that we used to have, and we tore it apart because it was bad to sit in anyways. It was sad that we had to get rid of the couch, but there was reasons why we had to get rid of the couch because it was uncomfortable to sit and lay on. It was a sad time when we had to get rid of it. Um, Jakers was a faded memory. I'd say it's a D tier. Faded memory. I think it's D tier, I think. Next one, Barney. Barney. I watched this at my grandma's house. Or when I got done with my elementary school, I remember my grandma picking me up and she took me to her house and I watched Barney and yeah, there's memories. Um, but just recently when watching Barney now, it's changed me. You know, Barney is now a meme and there's an animation out on YouTube, by the way. Barney poops. Oh my goodness. There's like like an animation that somebody made, and you could take a look at this if you search up Barney pooping. It was tied to Sesame Street. So Big Bird right here. Big Bird right here. This yellow bird right here comes knocking on the stall door. Basically, the stall doors, they were open, but for some reason Big Bird decided to knock on the door where Barney is trying to poop, and he tries to keep pooping. And Barney keeps saying, "Oh no, I think it goes like, uh, Big Bird says, Barney, we need you. Come on out, Barney. Are you in there? Are you in there? Just give me a will you?" Ooh, and then Barney's eyes pops out so huge, and then he farts up such a huge diarrhea, and it explodes the door. And Big Bird went flying without his wings. It's such a funny one, but yeah, Barney. Well, I could send you the link to that meme as well if I can remember. But yeah, Barney was funny, I'd say. I mean, I think it was cool to watch, I guess. But I think I'd put it B, but I don't really like watch it that much, so I'm probably putting B/C for that one. Next one is Teletubbies. Garbage. Next one, Caillou. Caillou, I'd watch a lot. When I was young, I'd watch this at my house. I watch it at my grandma's house sometimes. I'd watch it. I think it was cool. Caillou, it was okay, I suppose. You know, recently this is another meme too, with the Caillou instead of Barney. 2022, I came across another meme where somebody makes like a huge parody where Caillou is like 23 years old. And so when he's that old, he's such a washed up, spoiled brat. And so he tries so hard to piss off his dad. And his dad has a crash out, and he all of a sudden puts mashed potatoes in his pants. He goes like, mashed potatoes. Ah. I can't play the video, but I would show you the video of Barney and that crash out. And I will give you links if I can remember for both of the memes, but I can show you them all. Caillou was underrated. Um, so I will give Caillou A tier. I enjoy watching him, and I watch a lot of episodes from him, even though I don't watch it anymore. But I would say it's considered to be a memory in a way. Next one is Sesame Street. So Sesame Street. Um, yeah, I'd watch this a lot. Was it Elementary Days, or I think it's Elementary Days? Sesame Street slash, no, not Sesame slash, but when was a time where Sesame Street would come on and I'd watch it? I don't know if this is true or not, but I think when watching this, I believe it was on a weekend. I think it was on a weekend, or if it was some other time, I'm not sure. You know, with some of this stuff makes me want to go back to the old days so bad. We had a whole hell of a lot of stuff when watching this stuff. I swear we had everything we needed. And then we had a retarded president in 2020. Anyways, um, that screwed everything up for us, I guess. Um, anyways, the next one is to actually not saying the next one yet, but Sesame Street. I think was a vibe. I'd say I enjoyed it, and then I watched it at my grandma's house as well, having pink strawberry milk. It's really good. Um, I don't think memories hit me hard, but I can remember a little bit with this. I think it's a B tier, I will say. Next one is Arthur. So every time at 5 o'clock, I believe it was 5 o'clock or if it was 5:30. But when this show came on, it was around both of those times, and I'd watch this around that time every time I got up to go to middle school or high school. I'd watch this. This would be on. So Arthur is a classic in my opinion. There were so many classics I'd say. I like the old version of Arthur. I like the fact that Buster did it around the world with its show. I think I love the aesthetic so much. It's just nostalgic for me. So if I have to give Arthur a ranking, which is my name also by the way, AJ's um, first name. That's my first name. People call me AJ, but um, my actual name is Arthur. So I think I'd rank Arthur S tier. I'd say that one has memories. I'd say on that one as well. Next one is Curious George. This I will tell you has memories. I watched this at my grandma's house. I watched this at my house, and when I was I'm gonna well no never mind. I'll tell you at the end of the video maybe. I'm not sure if I can remember. But Curious George, when I watched this Curious George, oh god, I don't know if it was 2013 or if it was way earlier than that, but I watched this. Yeah, this was awesome. I think if I have to give Curious George a ranking, and I love the movie as well that they made too for this. And I think if I have to give Curious George a ranking, I think it's an S tier. That's another amazing show I'd watch all the time. So yeah. Next one is Cyber Chase. Cyber Chase is a memory. Cyber Chase, when I was like elementary days, it was on, but I couldn't get the chance to watch Cyber Chase because I was so young. But anyways, Cyber Chase, when I watched Cyber Chase, I finally got a chance to watch Cyber Chase. And they also forgot another show right here, but I'll talk about it later. Cyber Chase, when it got to the middle school slash high school years, this was on at 6 o'clock a.m. in the morning time. And what I admire about the Cyber Chase is that when the episodes get done, there's a girl that's on there and talks about facts about stuff. And then another impressive thing that I'd say about Cyber Chase is that it has a really catchy intro when they start singing their um, show title. Cyber Chase, we moving and we beaker hacker face to face, and I remember that being such a memory. I really enjoyed Cyber Chase. I thought it was amazing. I don't watch it anymore, and I could watch it, but I don't watch it anymore. So if I have to give Cyber Chase a ranking, I think it's nostalgic. But I rank it A. I think I'd say. And starting to watch Cyber Chase, I think it was 2017 or 16. I think it was 2017 through 2019 or so, and then I stopped watching it, or maybe even more than that. But I remembered I watched that, and that'd be my whole vibe. It was amazing to watch. Anyways, the next one is Super Y. So Super Y, I'd say, is an amazing kids show. I mean, cartoon. I watched this at my grandma's house. I watched it at my mom's house. When I started watching this, 2012. You know, when starting to watch this, it takes you into a library, and it's a bookshelf, and behind the bookshelf is a secret portal where they start the whole thing with their whole fairy tale land, whatever mojo, whatever kind of crap it is. And I thought that was pretty impressive. It takes me back to a memory where I'm getting ready for church. My dad tells me to go in the shower because I stopped like watching the show when it was around the time when they were starting the intro. I remembered that I had to hop in the shower, get myself ready, and I had put cologne on. It smells so good. And then I went to the church that was like 25 minutes from we were, I think. But yeah, I couldn't have time to watch it. But anyway, Super Y, I really enjoyed watching it, I'd say, because it takes me. Because what is also another thing that's pretty amazing about Super Y is that they have like a weird GPS for Super Y, and it'd be a huge computer. Like his phone would transform into like a huge computer thing, and it'd be pretty cool. How that was impressive when I was really young. I watched this show. It was so fun. Super Y, when like watching, like when I started like gal. I can't even tell you, but if I ever do in the future, I will talk about it. But I think Super Y is a fun show to watch, and I truly enjoyed it. And I view it as a nostalgic thing. So if I have to rank Super Y on this tier list, I think it's an S tier, honestly. I really enjoyed it. I really did. Next one, Word Girl. Word Girl, heck yeah. Heck yeah. When I was in elementary as a kid, I'd watch this when I get done with school. I'd come home. I'll have chips and cheese with my dad, and we'll watch this together. And it was just so fun and enjoying. Oh my goodness, it was cool. Um, Word Girl, it was awesome. Um, Dr. Two Brains and all the other cool characters. This would be a show I'd watch. Now, when watching this, when did this happen? I'd probably say 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. I watched it. I know it came on way earlier than that, but I could be wrong. Maybe it might have been way earlier. I started watching it. I think they said that World Girl probably came out in 2006, if I'm correct. When did Word Girl aired? Okay, what is it, AI? Oh, it was 2007? Oh, I thought it was 2006. Okay. Yeah, see, that seems to be about right there. It says Word Girl premiered September 3rd, 2007. And around that time, I was like 3 years old or 4 years old, somewhere around there. See, targeting children 4 to 8. Exactly. So, this show kind of have affected me, and I think it's how well it was like defining and describing what words mean, and that was cool. When I was young, when they were trying to like try to describe all the words, I didn't focus on that. I just only focused on the energy of the fighting and the plots and the acting and stuff. That's the only thing I focused on, not with the math and stuff. That's what I'd say with that. Like these shows and stuff, these shows don't really teach you much, but they can teach you when you get older, I think, if you kind of think about it. Word Girl, I rank as a S tier because I think it's a classic. I think it's an ultimate classic, I'd say. Moving on, Word World. Uh, yeah, I think World was such a fun thing. Like they'll combine words and then they'll make things. I thought that was amazing. So you know what? I think World is an S tier because that takes me back to my old roots and self. When I was really young, it was just amazing. I really enjoyed it. I really did. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, the next one is Sid the Science Kid. Yesterday I watched it actually. When I got done with my job, I just really was frustrated. I sit down and watched Sid the Science Kid because I felt like it. And also, back in 2017, my dad and I we would come up with like chocolate syrup, like Hershey chocolate syrup, and you put it into milk, and you'd get like a chocolate milk, and that was an experience. So yesterday I tried it while watching the Sid the Science Kid, and boy, that took me back. Oh, it was good, but it was way too chocolatey, so it was alright, I guess. But Sid the Science Kid, yes, I consider that to be a memory when I'm watching it at my old house I used to watch, and then I remember watching Sid the Science Kid back when was it 2013 or 12? 2012, 2013, something like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Um, Sid the Science Kid, I think, in my opinion, is a W. I think I consider Sid the Science Kid a classic, but I'd say it's A tier. I'd rank it A tier with that one. Next one, the Magic School Bus. Another another Cubo channel. This was on Cubo. I can't believe it. That show was on Cubo, not PBS Kids. This was not on PBS Kids. This was on Cubo. The Magic School Bus was on Cubo, and I'd watch it from there. I will say. And when watching this, I think it was 2015 and 14. I'd watch the Magic School Bus. I can remember that. I remembered I was in fifth or fourth grade watching this. It was an experience, I'd say. Yeah. It was alright, I guess. Um, it's somewhat nostalgic, I guess. I have to think about what the song is for the Magic School. The Magic School Bus. Yes. Oh no, this takes me I think third grade. So 2012 actually, not 14, 15, but 2012 when I started watching it actually. I was in third. I remember I was in second or third grade and I watched this cuz I remembered I don't know if it was art class or if it was the computer lab. I don't know. I don't know how that became a picture around those times. I don't understand, but I do remember we watched it. I think. Well, I remember watching it fourth/fifth grade, somewhere around there. We watched it, and it was enjoying. It was some vibe. I think this is a classic. I think, but I'm gonna give it an A tier because I feel like it. Next one, Martha Speaks. I will say Martha Speaks is a huge classic. Watching this at my old house with my mom and my dad, we watched this. Breakfast would be always the top thing for this. It was enjoying. I will say it was enjoying. Now to rank Martha Speaks, I think it's an S tier. It's a memory, I'd say. It takes me back to when breakfast is being made, and it was just an experience. And then we'd have to go to like a city that's basically 45 minutes back at the old house to another city, and we'd go to my cousin's house, and yeah, we watched a little bit, and then we went there, and I just remember on how it would be a vibe, and then the outside would be like a humid, nice blue sky, and you're just strolling around the school that basically doesn't have any cars there because obviously they're all closed. But some of them are there, they're just office ladies, and they do that. It's just some vibe. These stuff takes me places on describing this. If you like lore from me, this is huge lore right here for you. This whole thing is huge lore from me. Um, Next one is Dinosaur Train, and then yeah, that's all for the Martha Speaks. But the next one is Dinosaur Train. I will say it's garbage. Hmm. Yep, you're hearing me right. It's garbage. You know, I don't. I mean, I watched a lot of episodes from Dinosaur Train, but I just feel like there's nothing really great about the Dinosaur Train. I didn't really look into fossils. I wasn't like a fossil type of fan person that watch like, learn about dinosaur sculpture bones and stuff, and there would be like a guy that'd be orchestrating that's basically talking about what a bones look like or what they're called and stuff, and it's on here. That's what this is based off of. I'm not interested in fossil, bones that are buried a long time ago. You know, when I was like really young and stuff, I found like a I found like a fossil bone actually. It was stone, and it was like a saber tooth of some sort of kind. And I remembered it had lines indented. I don't know if I have it still or not, but I found it in my driveway, and I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe we can make money out of it. I'm not sure, but it was in our driveway somehow. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, this is part two. This is what it looks like for the thing. Ignore that top part, but this is what I drink for the PBS kids that I consider to be classic and enjoying to watch, and I enjoyed having fun with this stuff. Um, yeah. Uh, I'd watch shows like this all the time, like these. Maybe like maybe this part right here as well. Circling this. That's what would be the main things I'd watch. Not these ones. Not these five shows. But anyways, whoops. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.